I'd like to first mention that unlike every other character in Omega, Zangief has poor walk speed and poor dash speed. Unfortunately, this is literally the first thing I'm bringing up, and it's so bad it almost makes the character non-viable. What's especially bad is this Zangief has awful Oki on everything, and thus gets reset to neutral a lot more than Ultra Geef, which means not only is it hard for him to get in, but whenever he actually lands a hit, he has to get in again. Zangief's normals are mostly pretty similar, but almost all of them had a huge damage boost. 20 more damage on close strong and close forward, 30 more damage on far strong, and 40 more damage on crouch strong, close fierce, and close roundhouse. Zangief hits like a freight train in Omega. Close short went from 30 damage to 70. Pretty massive damage for a light normal, and it cancels to special moves just like Ultra. Far short now seems to be 5 frame startup, and will no longer link from low short, or far strong, which lost some plus frames. This hurts Geef's ability to complete combos. On the flip side, Zangief's short sweep seems to be about 5 frame startup, and will combo from a lot of Geef's normals. This is extremely reminiscent of SF2 Geef, and gives him some nice confirms which punish people holding up. Far strong now hits late on ducking opponents. This is the only way to do the short link. Zangief got a few new cancelable normals. The most notable is low strong, which is now Zangief's strongest cancel at 120 damage. Close forward is much more plus on hit. You can link both close forward and far forward, which gives Geef some really goofy looking combos, but they do high damage. You can also link low strong if you get a really deep connect. The damage here is bonkers, but I'm guessing it's character specific. Far fierce can be charged, just like SF5. But unlike SF5, it has no armor, so I think it'd be hard to use. It does become an armor breaker if fully charged, and it does massive damage if you actually manage to break armor with it, but this is highly impractical. You'll quickly realize this is a theme with this character. Close Fierce crumples the opponent on counter hit. It's super slow, and I'm not aware of any guaranteed counter hits in Omega, but it does insane damage if you can get it to work. Close Roundhouse now launches on hit. This is definitely not a bad punish starter for Geef, and gives him good damage in corner carry. No, you can't juggle Ultra 2. In the corner, you can juggle a Close Strong, which has juggle potential and slams the opponent. It's a bit stronger than Green Hand, too. Far Roundhouse is the same on grounded opponents, but if it hits someone midair, you get a float state, and you can juggle medium or EX Green Hand at pretty much any height. This is fantastic at catching jump away. Towards Fierce is a new normal. It does 300 stun, and theoretically hops over lows with very little recovery, so maybe you could whiff this and land SPD. It's definitely a lot easier to whiff than to hit with it, since it won't hit crouching opponents. Zangief's only other new unique attack is a parry. It's done with Towards Fierce plus Roundhouse. It has quite a lot of recovery on whiff, but if it absorbs something it recovers almost instantly. You can cancel it into itself, so you can use it to negate multi-hit moves. Armor breakers break it, but Zangief actually doesn't take any white damage if he absorbs something. This is a precursor to his SF5 V-skill, and it's insanely powerful in the context of SF4. Geef saw a lot of changes to his special moves. First, all SPDs saw a big increase in damage, with light and medium in particular doing 50 more damage than they do in Ultra. As you can guess, this is a huge deal. But with the ability to quick stand all knockdowns, Geef can no longer safely green hand in, so they reset him to neutral. Overall, this makes his SPDs much worse. EX SPD costs 2 bars, but it's without a doubt Omega Geef's best feature. It does 350 damage and 300 stun. More importantly, it's a real grab if the opponent is blocking, but if you cancel into it, it'll do a hit version that's 300 damage and 250 stun. This is absolutely terrifying, because both sides of Gief's mix-up now lead to a massive damage EX360. It's really not bad in punishes either. Gief hits the Omega standard of 400 damage for 2 bars spent. It also has an extra long knockdown to allow Gief a little time to get back in. What's more, the extra long knockdown is a deliberate OTG state. Gief can only reach the opponent in time if he lands an EXSPD while cornered. If he gets this, he can absolutely melt your HP bar. Green Hand has some interesting changes. Sadly, even the light version is really minus on hit, so even though it works as a combo ender, you don't want to use it. EX Green Hand knocks down and works basically like it did in Super, so it's still a fine combo ender. Note the knockdown gives you less Oki though. It's still invincible but throwable, so a passable wake-up option. I feel like it's worth mentioning that Gief kept the ability to do crouching Shoryuken motions. Probably specifically for his low short confirm. All versions of Green Hand have juggle potential, and are ideal enders after a launch. In Omega, if a Green Hand connects raw, it will knock down. This makes it very good for chasing backdashes or going through fireballs. Light Green Hand now has fireball invincibility, making it better still as an answer to fireballs. Close 360 kick and far 360 kick both seem to be unchanged, except they both gained damage and lost Oki. Zangief does run much faster though. Lariat with punches seems to be pretty much identical, and is still Gief's ideal anti-air. But Kick Lariat has been changed, it no longer has an early hit at all. Compare the timing of the hit of the punch and Kick Lariat. In return, it has a distant hit that connects much faster, allowing Gief to end many combos with Lariat. In practice, this feels a lot like SF5 Gief's Lariat. Unfortunately, it won't hit ducking opponents. Unless you force stand. Zangief has one new special move, Russian Stomping, quarter circle forward kick. Light is fast with lower damage, heavy is slow and high damage. All versions are unsafe on block, including EX. The heavy version is the strongest special Zangief can combo into, and it makes it ideal for his punish combos. And the light one is fast enough to combo from light normals. Zangief doesn't really have a lot of ways to safely end his meterless combos. It's pretty much this or Kick Lariat. Both do the same damage, have poor range, and leave the opponent out of range to really get a mix-up going, but this actually hits crouching opponents, so it's better. EX Stomping is spectacular. It does a whopping 210 damage, making it a very nice one-bar combo ender, much stronger than EX Green Hand. But where it really shines is that it has significantly more range than Kick Lariat and non-EX Stomping, making it dramatically more reliable. Sadly, it seems to have the best Oki of all of Zangief's knockdowns. Zangief Super, as a grab, is completely unchanged apart from a significant damage boost. But if you cancel or link into it, it'll do a hit and then combo properly, with zero loss in damage or range. Russian Stomping is especially fantastic because you can cancel the last hit of any version into super, and the damage is absolutely insane. You basically just win if you get the hit you need. Zangief's Ultras saw no changes that I could find, apart from, believe it or not, a 30 damage buff to both of them. He has no way to combo a crumple either, and none of his launches lead to Ultra 2. You've got to land them in neutral, same as Ultra. Zangief is a really strange case. In my opinion, he's significantly worse than his Ultra version, and maybe one of the worst characters in Omega, mostly because he's not very good at all in neutral, and absolutely everything he can land resets him to neutral. He has zero momentum. But literally everything he has saw a massive damage increase, and he can just destroy you if he gets the right connect, or even if he just gets a few swings in. I will say his parry and EXSPD have a lot of potential. He's a lot more like his SF4 version, and definitely a prototype for SF5. But generally, your ability to create openings is a lot more important than your damage, and this Zangief just has too much trouble getting in.